I've got a question from Dr. Muslim Ad-Darubi from Syria. He wants.
How is he, by the way?
He's okay and he's doing well.
Fine?
Yes.
He remains in touch with you?
Yes. Hazur, he wants to know the meanings of magic, the evil eye and envy, and which is the Sahr, Al-Ain and Al-Hasad, and he wants to know to which extent they can influence human behavior. And also he wants to know, can Surat Al-Falaq wal Mu'awwidhatayn be used as a charm to get rid of evil?
I think it's the same question which was raised by Mustafa Sabit Sahib, Sayyid Mustafa Sabit, when he was there. Perhaps he has written a book on such things, because the Arab world seems to be interested in this. All these questions of magic, etc., have been raised in the Holy Quran in different contexts. In one context, the Quran completely refutes the concept of the existence of sihr, in the sense that in the Quranic usage of the sihr, people antagonistic to the prophets speak of them as sahir, only to indicate that they are liars. So the word sahar is also used for a thing which is a complete lie, which has no basis whatsoever. So in the same context, the enemies of prophets refer to them as sahirin. And he has brought sihr. Sihr, at the same time, while it has no substance, has the power to influence poor people, innocent people. So there, they do not mean that the prophets are real magicians, but they say despite the fact that the message has no substance, it has the power to influence the ordinary people, and they believe in him. So this is one particular aspect of sihr which has been repeatedly mentioned in the Quran. Secondly, whatever sihr does is nothing. It is destroyed and it is frustrated by God. This also is mentioned in the Quran. Sihr is nothing. Allah frustrates whatever the sihr produces. Similarly, with reference to Moses and Pharaoh, the word sihr has been completely and elaborately discussed. The Holy Quran very clearly says that whatever the magicians did, they bound the eyes of the viewers with their sihr. Their sihr did not work directly upon the ropes they threw. Khayal is the word khayal is used. Under the spell of their magic, they thought they were seeing snakes, etc. So if you read those verses with particular attention and care, you simply cannot miss what the inference I'm drawing. So that means that in fact the Holy Quran speaks of sihr as nothing. Nothing in the sense of what ordinary people refer to this. The Holy Quran says that sihr does not exist, which has influence over real things of God, which can change the khalq of Allah. No such sihr exists according to the Holy Quran. But people's minds are influenced. And also, as I have said, many other usages of sihr are found in the Quran, but this particular aspect should be remembered. Now, when he says nazar, I mean, the questioner, this means that if somebody looks at somebody with evil intentions, this would influence him or her. Now, this already has been referred to by me, because according to the Quran this is possible. Otherwise, the sihr of magicians of Pharaoh could not have worked upon Moses and other people who were watching the duel between them. So this is very obvious. Nazar cannot be denied. But whether to counter it with potions or not, this is a second question, an independent question. I believe potions do not work. Prayer can work. Because if somebody has power of mind to work upon another person, potions cannot help the person whose mind is under the spell of a magician or one who exerts the power of his mind over him. What does influence is the power of Allah. And that power is not done because of any potions. That power is not displayed because of any potions. In cases of Moses, God took over directly and decided to frustrate the efforts of the magicians, and it was frustrated there and then. So people should pray for such persons who seem to have been cast under spells of others. And such prayers can be heard. I'm sure they will be heard, and only God can do this. Otherwise, physical measures can be adopted which are remedial in nature, like medicines, etc. Some people have been referred to me as patients of hysterical tendencies. And some mothers write that they began with some evil eye. I say, yes, it might have begun with evil eye, but we have not only a remedy in prayer for this, but also homeopathically, mental influences can be remedied. And such patients can be cured if right remedy is diagnosed. So this is another way of doing it. If some mother does believe that her child has fallen under the spell of an evil eye, then she should try to treat the patient with homeopathic medicines and also pray, because the prayer is the most powerful means against such evil spells. Right? Do the Germans also believe in this evil eye and these things?
No, but the Turkish Muslims in Germany, which
They
are really
do.
Germans, they're very strong.
They do like mad. Eh?
Yeah.
You're referring to her. Yes.
In the big cities they don't believe, but in the religious people,
So
we
حضور
don't
فرمائے
believe. We don't believe magic and
You don't believe
no.
because you're an Ahmadi. Right.
the hadith of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said al-ayn haqq, so it is in the same context with Hazur just explained.
That's right.
Yes, okay.
Al-Ainul Haq, I have said it is haq.
Yeah.
You can't refuse it. The Quran says it is.
Okay.
I must warn that this hadith, it speaks of al-ainu al-haq, al-ainu haq. This has been extensively misused and misapplied by the religious leaders of this age and the Middle Ages as well. Now, they fail to notice the fact that Ahmad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said al-ainu haqqun. Yet during his time, you never come across any incident when a physically ill patient was presented to him and he said, this is an. He always suggested some remedial measures. So, al-ainu haqqun does not mean that he is referring to an ordinary phenomenon which prevails in societies in general. But he only refers to it as a real phenomena where a phenomenon which should not be denied. But what the ulama have done is, they have misled the ordinary people by suggesting that, Nauz Billah, according to Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, all diseases, all hysterias are the result of Ain. And as such, they should be cured with potions and charms. Now, the only advantage gained is by the mullah, who gets the money for the potion. And all the disadvantages of this misapplication is gained by the common people, poor things. So the Turkish people who do it in Germany, they should have thought that al-ainu haqqun is a general statement. It does not apply only to Muslims. It applies all over the world to everybody. If their understanding of this observation of Ahmad was correct, then they should have seen the German people also suffering from the same end. They do not. And they do not care a hoot for end. So they should, living in a society where they know medicine works, hysterias are treated by homeo or other medicines, or by psychiatrists, and no question of Ain is taken into consideration during these treatments. And their remedies work, while the remedies of the mullahs do not work. That is why the poor patients suffer the more for it, because they are taken from one mullah to another, huge sums are spent, and they are not cured. But when the disease itself is tired and leaves the person at last, if that happens at the time when another mullah was approached, say, look here, you see, his potion worked, his charm produced the desired effect. So this is what happens. All through their lives, the patients, the children, the mothers, etc., all suffer because of this misunderstanding of the hadith. Which is not misunderstanding, in fact, is misapplication, conscious misapplication of this hadith by their mullahs. Right?
The most common thing what they do is they go to a mullah and the mullah is writing on letter Arabic verses and they put this in water and then they have to drink the water as a medicine 5 times a day or something.
And doesn't work.
No.
Yes, sir. Yes. One important thing which also should be taken into account is that whether in Turkey or in Africa or in any other country like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, where this magic concept is practiced and where the evil eye concept is promoted by the mullahs all over the world or by magicians in Africa, whether they're mullahs or non-mullahs, there is one damage caused to the society which ordinarily would not cause any damage. These people highlight the influence of the eye, with the result that evil-minded people practice this. And the idea is born into their heads that why not use this? So a lot of damage which was unavoidable is created intentionally by these mullahs as an opposite pole. They claim to be able to cure. There are others who earn their money by threatening people that we will do this to you or give us some money. So the whole society is destroyed and is disturbed. Why to do this? There is only an evil practice of the mullahs which has resulted into all this. Not only the mullahs, but so-called religious leaders, which are called witch doctors in Africa. And also the same are referred to as sort of doctors in the Red Indian culture. But the Red Indian people did not malpractice this. Their so-called witch doctors should not be likened unto the African witch doctors or the other Muslim mullahs. They do it only for good. So this goes to their credit. They always cure using their mental powers on patients. That is why in some Western, not stories, but actually what happened in the West in the past, some white people were either injured or fell ill during their tour of some tribes, and their so-called witch doctors were really religious leaders who used their power of mind beneficially and positively. They were employed and there was no other medical help available, and they were able to cure the person. Even in modern times, people are amazed at such cures. Just this morning, I read a news item in the newspaper, English newspaper, which said that the belief of the patient helps him cure his own diseases. So this is what is meant. A belief of self-confidence is transported into the patient by such doctors. And they work their mind on him that you are getting better, you are getting better. And he actually begins to believe in such a person and cures himself. Because Allah has provided us with a system of cure for almost everything. Allah has provided us with a system of cure to cure everything. I said almost because we don't know all the things which He has provided us with. So for us it's only almost. And this is what works in countering the effect of the evil eye. The patients should be treated directly, healthily, and power of mind should be exerted on them for them to believe that no wrong is done to them. They can take care of themselves. Their own psyche can counter the evil influences. If this is done, then I think there is a lot of good in the society. But these people should not charge anything. The Red Indians never charge for these services. That's again an interesting point of beauty about their character. I'm nowadays researching on the West, now Red Indian society, and I have come across a great book written by an early American photographer who had traveled far and wide, and his reporting is completely contradictory to the literature about the Western life found today in American literature. They are all false allegations against them. The image you create of the Red Indian witch doctors is absolutely wrong. This is done by the American writers. But all the scholars of America agree that if there is anything authentic done by any American, it was this photographer 100 years ago or so, who had collected all the material by traveling far and wide, and his reporting was perfectly honest and just. So inshallah we'll work on that, and I mean to publish this book on behalf of Ahmediyya to tell the rest of the world that all these gossips are just to be poo-pooed, and the people should not be influenced by these. Right?